Hi guys, welcome back to another video of the Q2FY26 series, and in today's video we are going to be talking about a couple of companies that has turned poison or continues to be, had already turned poison and continues to be in that state. So we'll be talking about roughly, I guess, 4 to 5 companies. The first one will be Indiamart Intermesh. Now, why do I call this company poisonous? Because you would have seen earlier there was a huge demand over here, and the company used to be growing at around 25 to 30% growth rate. And I do not know if you were also there in that phase in the market, but there was a time where India Mart was all the rage, and rightfully so, because that time growth rate था, demand बहुत चंगा चल रहा था, and उसका जो competitor था, which is Just Dial, they used to beat them, by a huge margin. So obviously the stock, performed at that time, but now you would have seen that the growth rate has really tapered down, because if you look on a Q2 on Q2 basis, you see that the sales growth that is there, sales growth is up by 11%, and PAT is down by a whooping 40%, right? And this is kind of a shocker, is because आपका जो platform business है, यहाँ पे operating leverage is immense, right? And the fact that आपका PAT is down by 40, it just goes to show you how much the business is struggling over here. Okay, now इसका अगर आप अलग the other metrics that are there, if you check, you check for आपका जो paying suppliers है. Now if you look at Indiamart Intermesh, they make money by how? By subscription fees. Let's say the supplier that is there, right? They have this different memberships, such as gold subscription, platinum subscription. Jitna ye log, the more number of suppliers that is there, the sellers, they come and they pay the subscription, or they increase the subscription, in the sense like earlier they were paying silver, abhi gold kharid raha hai, right? So uska value badhta hai. So this is how majority of the money is made. But ye jo paying supplier hai, that is growing in a low single digit, you would have seen, for the last 4 quarter. Even this quarter, if you see, the paying supplier grew only and only by 2%. And the other thing is, जहाँ पे active listing होते हैं, the number of businesses that is getting listed also, that also didn't grow much, by same 2%. So इसका पूरा volume growth ही नहीं है. Volume growth is hardly 2%. सारा का सारा यहाँ पे आ रहा है by आपका increasing the fee. This 11% growth that you're seeing, it is coming by charging more. Let's say for example, आपका gold and platinum में earlier you were charging, just an example, 300 rupees per month as subscription. Now you're charging 400 rupees per month. So this इसके वजह से इनको growth मिल रहा है. But ultimately you need volume growth now, because without volume growth in businesses like this, it is impossible to make money with infinite value growth, because there will come a time where there is a ceiling, and and it literally shows when you hit that ceiling, nobody would be willing to subscribe and get that subscription. मतलब क्या, आपका churn rate will become very high, which is again evidently seen because उनको lower category जो है, right, which is a silver category and below that, यहाँ पे the churn rate is extremely high. Okay, so that is why you see like nothing good is happening with the business. Only thing what I feel bad is, obviously the demand has gone completely southwards for them, and the business is suffering a lot as a result. But the management, at least one thing what I've seen a difference with Indiamart Intermesh compared to the last 4 quarters versus this quarter, is the management is really trying everything that they can do, to get the business back and up. Few changes what they've done is, especially if you are a supplier over here, if you have to sell something on the Indiamart Intermesh platform, earlier क्या हो रहा था, for you to get registered, आपका GST, once आपका GST number डालना पड़ता है, then you have to make certain payment and everything. It used to take a lot of time. Now there what they're doing is, it has become more seamless. AI को use कर रहा है. Similarly earlier, right, when a supplier has to create a catalog, और उसको categorization करना पड़ता है, in which in which category does he fall to, इसके लिए सब अभी AI use करके trying to make it more and more efficient, and trying to make it more and more user friendly. So obviously the business is trying everything, but unfortunately the situation is such that the management is doing everything in hand, but the demand environment that is there, the environment that they're operating now, it is not supporting the business at all. Like I always tell, आपका जो business है, it is like a shark. A shark can grow ultimately up to the size of the environment. Now Indiamart Intermesh business is a shark. Earlier it was in sea, ocean में था, so it could grow up to infinite size, whatever it was capable of. Abhi somebody has taken this shark, from the ocean, they put it in aquarium, right? Demand ही नहीं. So कितना, whatever they do, कितना भी हाथ पैर फैलाए, unfortunately because of the demand, the business is completely washed up. And again, it might take a very long time, to get that green shoot back in the business. Okay, the next company that we will be doing is the shoe space, which is Metro Brands Limited, and we will be talking about Liberty. Okay, now this is one, these I would say the footwear space is one space that I would completely avoid, because after the pent up demand went away from COVID, that is since 2022, what we are seeing is the again, this is one such space where no company is having growth, no company is facing like any sort of उनका भी demand अच्छा नहीं है, and they've gone back from that 30 to 40% का growth engine था. Every single body is growing at that high single digit या low single digit. Either they're growing from below 5% या अगर अच्छा भी कर रहे हैं, the best they can do is around 11 to 12% in that kind of range. And Metro is no exception for that. If you look at it, the sales that is there, sales has been up by 11%, and PAT जो है, PAT is down by 4%. उनका जो फिला का acquisition है ना, which they have done last year, उसके वजह से पूरा का पूरा the profitability and the margins has been impacted. Another thing over here is another issue that although the store count and everything is great, another issue that Metro Brands Limited is facing is because this BIS का एक regulatory change आया था. Now what is this BIS का regulatory change? The BIS, which is the government authority that is there, government का department, they tell you, they put a ban on certain kind of products, or the quality of the products, or the kind of material you use. They mention कि like इस product के लिए आपको यही raw material, इस grade का raw material, इस variety का use करना पड़ता है, and everything. Now Metro Brands क्या करते हैं, इसका अगर आप देखते हो 60 to 70% comes from खुद का brands, and the other 30 to 40% comes from foreign brands. मतलब क्या, आपके ये बड़े बड़े ब्रांड जो होते हैं, Crocs, Foot Locker and everything, they have the license to put up the stores and sell it in India. Okay, now you would have seen last time they acquired two companies. One is Fila, which is I think more than a year right now, and the second is Foot Locker, which was supposed to be a game changer for them, because अगर आप देखते हो Mochi and उनका foot what is that, Walker या कुछ एक brand है, उसका prices range somewhere between 2000 to 6000. But when you talk about Fila and Foot Locker का shoes, they go up from 6000 even up to 15-20,000. So product mix would be changing for better na. But unfortunately उनका जो Fila and Foot Locker का expansion that is there, right, that has been a bit slowed down. उनका भी यहाँ पे एक problem हो चुका है, because these people, Fila and Foot Locker का shoes that is there, it gets manufactured abroad and then they get it over here. Now already उन्होंने manufacture करके रखा है, right, and now you are putting up this BIS का thing, and inventory में problem आ चुका है. Now we have to find ways to get those already manufactured shoes to sell it over here, or they have to create a new product over here which comes under the BIS regulation. So इसके वजह से उसका भी expansion, the two expansion that is there, one is Fila and Foot Locker, it has been slower than that of expected. Overall, this is that one Metro Brands is that one stock which is poisonous and continues to be poison, and there is no hope. At least ये poison से decent category में जा सकता है, there is no hope at all. Okay, another one is, which I would say more than poison, I would say this comes in that shit category. Remember last time we did good, decent, poison and shit. The Liberty shoe comes in the shit category because it's probably the worst shoe company in that footwear space. Sales is flat, and the PAT that is there, it is down by, profit before tax is down by 32%. So I mean literally इसके बाद क्या ही देखना है, मतलब I don't care उसके बाद आप कुछ भी करो, when the sales is flat, close your PPT faster than that you open. Okay, then the fourth company that we will do is PVR Inox. Okay, PVR Inox, if you see, sales is up by a whooping 15, not whooping, sales is up by 15%, and half yearly में अगर आप देखते हो 16% से सेल बढ़ा हुआ है. Now understand with PVR Inox का two main हिस्सा है where they make money. One is when you as a consumer go buy the tickets and go watch more movies in theater, and the second way they make money is when you go and buy the food and beverage in while watching a movie. आपका ये popcorn, Coca-Cola आप पीते हो, that is how they make money. But the majority obviously comes from ticketing business that is there. Now think about it, right? When will you go and watch a movie? When the movie ka lineup is really good, when there has been some really exceptional movies that has been made, right? That is when we as consumers will flock to the theater, we will go, we will buy the tickets, show that enthusiasm to go. So now do you see one correlation that is there? PVR Inox ka entire revenue is dependent on one thing, कि like कितना अच्छा movies आ रहे. Ultimately it depends. अगर movie अच्छा है, consumers will go and buy the tickets, they will make money. अगर movie अच्छा नहीं है, then they won't. Now if you see for the last 4 to 5 quarters that are there, if you see, there has not been any good movies actually. Like when I tell good movies, imagine that blockbuster hit, जो एक हफ्ते में 300 करोड़ करता है, 400 करोड़ करता है, I mean you get the metric, right? Like बहुत बहुत बड़ा blockbuster, that is it, these kind. But I think the last good kind of quarter they've had is when Animal, that Ranbir Kapoor ka movie was released, because the demand was so much कि like they had to put up the midnight show and everything. वो एक बहुत बड़ा blockbuster hit हुआ था. That is why this time if you see again in Q2, one of the reasons in Q2 they made more money is because across a category, now we have 3 categories of movies. One is Bollywood, the other is Hollywood, and the other is regional movies. आपको Kannada ka movies, Tamil Nadu, I mean Tollywood and all of those kind of movies. If you look at Bollywood, we had Sayara, which has been a 400 crore ka hit. Then Mahavatar Narasimha बोल के 300 crore ka hit. War 2, Jolly LLP, which has been a 100 crore kind of movies. So because of this one, Hollywood maybe the lineup had been great. Hollywood maybe you had this Jurassic World, Conjuring, Superman, and similarly if you look at it even in a regional movies, अगर आप कनाडा में देखते हो, there is this Sue from So, Raj Shetty का movie था, which has also been a hit. So because of this, that has been a great Q2 has been a great quarter. Now Q3 में भी अगर आप देखते हो, the lineup of movie has been great, because Q3 में one of the good movies that came is Kantara, right? So Kantara I think was released in during Dasara time, probably during September. So because Q2 has been good and the Q3 ka lineup also looks very nice, right? Q3 ka lineup looks extremely nice. There seems to be some sort of glimmer, some sort of hope, for PVR Inox, right? So I would put it in a decent category. It is not poison, it is decent. But PVR Inox is not, I would say one thing, it is not a long-term bet. PVR Inox is great if you are an active investor. आप कुछ थोड़ा short term के लिए देख रहे हो ना, I would say PVR Inox is good for traders also, I would say, because ultimately आपको before the result comes only you will know how what you can expect over here. आप देख लो उस महीने में, because Q3 का month is what, October, November, December, जाके देख लो कौन से movie has been 400 crore, 500 crore, and how many movies aren't, and with that you will get to know Jan का result कैसे होगा या कि नहीं. So that is the thing, PVR Inox will never ever be a long term bet. It is a kind of bet that is completely very seasonal kind of business, completely depends on the movies and how movies are doing, right? So I would put it in the decent category as of now, but it is not necessary that this company will continue to remain in this category. Okay, so that's it about PVR Inox. And the last company that we will do is Sagar Cement, which is in the cement industry, as you can see. Now Sagar Cements, if you look at it, they had guided for a volume growth of 8 to 10%, but this quarter that is there, the volume is up by 17%, 17. So very good set of numbers. Sales is also up by 27%. Uska jo ek they were putting up this plant in Dachapalli in Andhra Pradesh, uska bhi commission has already happened in October 23rd. From Q3 it should go live. Okay, so all in all great. See, the thing over here is Sagar Cement continues to beat everybody in the cement space, because agar aap Nuvoco Vista ka dekhte ho, the sales is up by 8%, volume growth is 2%. Ultratech Cement ka volume growth is somewhere 14 to 15%, sales growth is 20%. But think about it, right? Ultratech is like a 3 lakh crore ka ka market cap ka company, and so obviously wahan pe 20% ka bhi growth is nothing, good for nothing over here, just because of the sheer size of the business. On the other hand, Sagar Cement, if you look at it, 27% ka sales growth, highest in the entire cement industry. 17% का volume growth भी किया है, again highest volume growth. The problem is where then with Sagar industry, the problem is इनका bottom line and the margins are a huge problem. Okay, पहला चीज है, if you look at it, everybody else is enjoying at least a good amount of operating leverage or a decent amount of operating leverage, but यहाँ पे Sagar Cement का एक चीज है, in I think a couple of years back, I don't remember when, 2023 or 2024 में they did an acquisition. एक आंध्रा सीमेंट बोल के कंपनी था, which had gone through a lot of problem, debt का problem था, insolvency का issue था. They acquired this company, so इसके वजह से they got a complete control in that Andhra region. And the other is they have Sagar Cements, another एक subsidiary which caters to Madhya Pradesh का region. Now after this acquisition, what has happened is उनका पूरा ये cost control में ना ऊपर नीचे हो चुका है. When I tell cost control is what, cement is such an industry where your sales can be good, but it is a very choppy industry, because आपका जो one company can vary completely different from another company depending on 4 4 things. यहाँ पे सीमेंट का अगर मैं बात करूँ, there are 4 important things to look for. Okay, इनका cost है. Now cost comes down to 4 things. One is logistics cost या transportation cost, because you can't put up a plant anywhere and everywhere. You put up a plant somewhere and वहाँ से, maybe now for example Sagar Cements का अगर मैं बात करूँ, they have a plant in Andhra Pradesh. Now from Andhra Pradesh you have to send to Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, that and this place. So depending on which state you're catering to, आपका transportation cost वहाँ पे बढ़ता है, logistic का cost. The other thing is you have to comply with the state department या state government of that state, right? Now Sagar Cement, if they're selling it to Karnataka, उसका शायद GST, everything will be different. So this is another thing, another variable cost. The other thing is what, आपका raw material का cost, because everything depends on clinker, right? Like आपका जो clinker का होता है, everything is on that. Then the another big cost is आपका power, okay? Because to make this cement you need a lot of, आपका electricity, everything, right? Some people depend on solar also, power का cost भी होता है. So depending on these costs, the more control you have on these costs that is there, the better your margin is going to be. If you look at Ultratech cement and everything, especially in this quarter, they've had a very very good control in terms of all of these costs. Hardly, I believe, one or two factors only for them has been up. I think it has been the fuel cost. Again, along with power, you have the fuel cost also. Only fuel cost thoda unka बढ़ गया है, but other than that, everything has been under control. But if you look at Sagar Cement, right, everything is up. Uska raw material ka cost, uska fuel ka cost, power ka cost, logistic ka cost. So when all of your cost is up, how do you expect your bottom line to be there, right? And the other thing is, since the time this acquisition has been done, right, iska, like I told you, there has been no control in either of the fixed cost or variable cost. And the other thing is, उनका plant क्या होता है ना, either it is getting shut down, फिर maintenance में जाता है. So the efficiency is also not there with respect to the capacity utilization, because of which, इनका losses that is there, it continues to post losses. Because last Q2 it was 54 crore, this Q2 it is 44 crore. Yes, losses थोड़ा कम हो रहा है, but it is not, I mean, there is no glimmer, there is no hope कि like, आगे जाके losses, it will become lesser and lesser. Finally we can see a PAT positive, EPS बढ़ने लगेगा. That hope should be there. यहाँ पे even to get that hope is difficult, because एक quarter में आपका fuel का cost कम हो सकता है, next quarter आपका fuel का cost ज़्यादा हो सकता है. So since you do not know how the cost that is there, how the expense part of the profile that is there, how it would change, it becomes very 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 difficult to understand कि like, इसका कब EPS में finally वो growth आएगा. So although you see Sagar Cement is leading the race, right? If you with respect to everything that you see, Sagar Cement is leading the race compared to Ultratech Cement, Nuvoco Vista, and Andhra Cement तो छोड़ी दो, इसका ही part है. There is another Indian Cement बोल के है, but I don't think Indian Cement भी doubled 27% का growth. I don't think they can ever do it. So although it is leading the race, and it has been leading the race now, I believe for the second quarter straight in this year, you see, right, it is just not good enough. Only and only because of that one thing, EPS का growth. At least if the market gets a glimmer of hope कि like, आगे जाके EPS will get better, then at least then only the PE का re-rating, there is a high possibility of that happening. But यहाँ पे वो भी नहीं है ना, it becomes very 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 difficult over here. So that is the only reason I would put it somewhere between decent and poison Sagar Cement. Decent because it continues to lead the race, poison because we do not know when the EPS will come back or not, right? That is the only thing. It's a very sad reality actually with what is happening with Sagar Cement. So yeah guys, that's that about the entire Q2 FY26 for today. I will do another video probably, depending on the I have to do a video on Coforge actually, but I'm waiting for the con call transcript to come. So let's see, once that comes I'll do on that. EPAC Preferable Technologies, uska to already Rajoshi has done a video, so I wouldn't do a video on that. But yeah, let's wait for Coforge ka con call. And also one more thing guys, if you guys want to understand the con call and everything, make sure you're getting the investment checklist workshop. It is literally the best one out there, right? The link is in the description box below. And that's that. Hope you all have a great day and continue to track the companies that's in your portfolio. And yeah, have a great day guys. Bye.